Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayat udirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, one should offer obeisances, respectful obeisances unto the personality of God at Narayan, and to Naranarayana Rishis, the supermost human being, and to Mother Sarasvati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. So today we are going to continue to read from the second canto, entitled The Cosmic Manifestation, the 7 chapters, Quadrilled Incarnation, and then I think we are on text 32. Is that correct, dear Govinda? Is your understanding?
I will check and see. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Okay. Well, let's see here. We definitely read 30.
30 and 31. I'm not sure we read 32.
Okay, so we did not read 32. We did not read 32.
So text 32. We go one word at a time in Sanskrit. Gope, Make, Pati Ate, Vajavitlavaya, Deve, Mudivashati, Ashun, Pipaya, Virakshu, Darta, Uchilindram, Iva, Saptadinani, Saptavarsha, Mahidram, Anaga, Eka, Shalilam, Ekakare, sorry, Shalilam, Goper Make Patiyate Vajavi Plavaya. Devi Vivarshati Pashum Kripaya Virakshu. Darto Shilindramiva Shapta Dinani Shapta. Varsho Mahindra Anugai Kakare Shalilam. Goper Make Patiyate Vajavi Plavaya. Deve vivashtati pashum kripaya lirakshu.
Deve vivarshati pashum kripaya lirakshu.
Darto shilindra vivashapta dinani shaptam.
Dharto chilindra sapta dinani sapta.
Vasho Mahindra Manakai Kakale Shalilam.
Vasho Mahindra Manadhaika Kare Salilam.
Goperma Kepatiyate Vajavi Plavaya.
Goperma Kepatihate Vasavitlavaya.
Deve Vivashati Pashum Kripaya Ligakshum.
Deve Vivarshati Pashun Kripayariyakshu.
Daksho Shilindra Nivashapta Dinani Shaptam.
Bharto Shilindra Nivasapta Dinani Sapta.
Vasho Maindra Manakai Kakale Shalilam.
Vasho Mahindra Manadhaika Kare Salilam. Gopermake Pratihate Vrajaviplavaya.
Goperma Kipatihate Vajavi Plavaya.
Deve Vivashati Pashun Kripayaridakshu.
Deve Vivashati Pashum Kripaya Lidakshu.
Bharto Chilindram Vasapta Dinani Sapta.
Dato Shilindra Vivashapta Dinani Shapta.
Varsho Mahindra Manadhaika Kare Salilam.
Vasho Mahindra Manakai Kakale Salilam.
Gopermake Pratihate Vrajaviplavaya.
Gopermake Patiyate Vajavi Plavaya.
Deve Vivarshati Pashum Kripaya Lidakshu.
Deve Vivashati Pashum Kripaya Lidakshu.
Darto Chilindram Vasapta Dinami Sapta.
Dato Shilindra Vivashapta Dinani Shapta.
Vasho Mahindra Manakai Kakare Salilam.
Vasho Mahindra Manakai Kakale Salilam. Someone online?
Gopermake Pratihate Vrajaviplavaya.
Gopermake Pratihate Vrajaviplavaya.
Deve Vivarshati Pashun Kripaya Rirakshu.
Deve Vivashati Pashun Kripaya Rirakshu.
Darto Chilindram Iva Sapta Dinani Sapta.
Darto Chilindram Iva Sapta Dinani Sapta.
Varsho Mahidram Anagai Kakare Salilam.
Vasho Mahindram Anaka Kaikare Salilam. Gopermake Pratihate Vrajaviplavaya.
Gopermake Pratihate Vrajaviplavaya.
Deve Vivashati Pashun Kripaya Rirakshu.
Deve Vivarshati Pashun Kripaya Rirakshu.
Dato Chilandram Iva Sapta Divini Sapta.
Darto Chilindram Iva Sapta Dinani Sapta.
Vasho Mahindram Anagai Kakare Salilam.
Varsho Mahidram Anagai Kakare Salilam.
Gopermake Pratihate Vrajaviplavaya.
Gopermake Pratihate Vrajaviplavaya.
Deve Viharshati Pashun Kripaya Rirakshu.
Devi Vivasati Pashun Kipaya Vitakshu.
Garto Chilindram Iva Sapta Dinani Sapta.
Dauto Shilindra Vivasapta Dinani Shapta.
Varsho Mahidram Anagaika Kare Salilam.
Dausho Indra Manakaika Kanesha Nilam.
Gopai Make Pratihate Vraja Viplavaya. Deve Pivarshati Pashun Kripayari Rakshu.
Devi Vivasati Pashun Kripaya Vitakshu.
Tarto Chilindra Miva Sapta Dinani Sapta. Varsho Mahindra Manakaika Karesha Lilam.
Goodbye
Goodbye.
by the cowherd man.
By the cowherd men.
Make,
Make.
in offering of sacrifice to the King of Heaven.
In offering a sacrifice to the King of Heaven.
Pratiyate,
Pratiyate.
being hampered.
Being hampered.
Vrajaviplavaya,
Raja Viplaya.
for devastating the whole existence of Rajabhumi, the land of Krishna's pastime.
For devastating the whole existence of Rajabhumi, the land of Krishna's pastimes.
Devi,
Devi.
by the King of Heaven.
By the King of Heaven.
And Vivarshati,
Abhivarshati.
having poured down heavy rain.
Having poured down heavy rain.
Pashun,
Pashun.
the animals.
The animals.
Kipaya,
Vipaya.
by causeless mercy upon them.
By causeless mercy upon them.
Virakshu,
Virakshu.
desired to protect them.
Desired to protect them.
Darta,
Dharta.
held up.
Held up.
Uchilindram,
Uchilindra.
approved as an umbrella.
Uprooted as an umbrella.
Eva,
Eva.
exactly like that.
Exactly like that.
Shaptadanani,
Saptadinani.
continuously for 7 days.
Continuously for 7 days.
Saptavarsha,
Saptavarsha.
also he was only 7 years old.
Although he was only 7 years old.
Maindram,
Mahidram.
Govardhan Hill,
Govardhan Hill.
Anaga,
Anaga.
without being tired.
Without being tired.
Ekakare,
Ekakari.
in one hand only.
In one hand only.
Shalilam,
Salila.
playfully.
Playfully.
Translation. When the cowherd men of Vrindavan, under instruction of Krishna, stopped offering sacrifice to the heavenly king Indra, the whole tract of land known as Raja was threatened with being washed away by constant heavy rain for 7 days. Lord Krishna, out of his causeless mercy upon the inhabitants of Raja, held up the hill known as Govardhan with one hand only. Also, he was only 7 years old. He did this to prevent the animals from to protect the animals from the onslaught of water. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Children play with an umbrella generally known as a frog's umbrella. And Lord Krishna, when he was only 7 years old, could snatch the great hill known as Govardhana Parvata at Vrindavan and hold it for 7 days continuously with one hand, just to protect the animals and the inhabitants of Vrindavan from the wrath of Indra, the heavenly king, and who had been denied sacrificial offering by the inhabitants of Rajabhumi. Factually, there is no need for offering of sacrifices to the demigods for their services if one is engaged in the service of Supreme Lord. Sacrifices recommended in the Vedic literature for satisfaction of the demigods are a sort of endorsement to the sacrificers to realize the existence of higher authorities. Demigods are engaged by the Lord as controlling deities of material affairs. And according to the Bhagavad Gita, when a demigod is worshipped, the process is accepted as an indirect method of worshipping the Supreme Lord. But when the Supreme Lord is worshipped directly, there is no need of worshipping the demigods or offering them sacrifices as recommended in particular circumstances. Lord Krishna therefore advised the inhabitants of Vrajabhumi not to offer any sacrifices to the heavenly king Indra. But Indra, not knowing Lord Krishna in Vrajabhumi, was angry at the inhabitants of Vrajabhumi and tried to avenge the offense. But competent as the Lord was, he saved the inhabitants and animals of Vrajabhumi by his personal energy and proved definitely that anyone directly engaged as a devotee of the Supreme Lord need not satisfy any other demigods, however great, even on the level of Brahma or Shiva. Thus, this incident definitely proved, without a doubt, that Lord Krishna is a personality of Godhead and that he was so in all circumstances as a child, on the lap of his mother, as a boy 7-year-old, and as an old man of 125 years old. In either case, he was never on the level of an ordinary man, and even in his advanced age, he appeared as a young boy 16-year-old. These are the particular features of the transcendental body of the Lord. Om Gyana Timirandasya, Gyana Jala Shalakaya, Chakshun Militan Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha, Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale, Swayamupa Kadamayam Datati Swapadavutinkam, Vandeham Shri Guru, Shri Utapada Kamalam, Shri Guru Vaishnavancha, Shri Rupam Sagajatam, Sahagana Raghunatham, Vitam Tam Sajivam, Sadvaita Savadutam, Parijana Saita, Krishna Chaitanya Devam, Shri Radha Krishna Padam, Sahagana Lalita, Shri Vishakam Vitamcha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu, Dinabandhu Jagatpate, Gopesha Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namostute, Tapta Kamshana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vishabhanu Sutedevi Pranamami Haripriye, Pancha Kalpata Ubhyacha, Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha, Patitanam Pavanibhyo, Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadada, Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta, Swaminiti Namine, Namaste Sarasvati Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvisesha Shunyavadi, Paskya Chache Jatarine. When the cowherd men of Vrindavan, under instruction of Krishna, stopped offering sacrifices to the heavenly king Indra, the whole tract of land known as Vraja was threatened with being washed away by constant heavy rain for 7 days. Lord Krishna, out of his causeless mercy upon the inhabitants of Vraj, held up the hill known as Govardhan with one hand only. Also, he was only 7 years old. He did this to protect the animal from the onslaught of water. Hare Krishna. So this chapter is presented by Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is the engineer of the universe. There is many universe in the cosmic manifestation, all emanating from Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu, when in exhale, many universes come out of him. Many. He says that there is as many universes that, like in a big bag of mustard seed. So unlimited amount of universe emanate from Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is like a Purusha avatar, expansion of Lord Shri Krishna, and within each universe, within each universe, we have another Vishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, from which, like a lotus flower sprouts that get rise to Lord Brahma. So in every universe there is a Brahma, and in our universe we have a Brahma, and Lord Brahma is the top of the engineer of this universe, with all the different planetary systems, 14 different planetary systems, and he's at the head, and he has 4 heads too. So he has a lot of brain substance to do his service of engineering this universe with the different planetary system. And Lord Brahma here is like speaking with his son and disciple Narada Muni about the different incarnation of the Lord. He just wants to speak about the Lord, and as we read through those verses, we can feel the ecstasy of Lord Brahma, his eagerness to speak about the pastime of different incarnations, spiritual incarnation of the Lord. He spoke about different incarnations as they come, and here he specifically focused on Krishna, and with a series of verses. I think we are into like 4 or 5 verses just about Krishna, and again we can sense how Lord Brahma is relishing speaking about the different pastime of Krishna. Different pastime of Krishna. Krishna as a baby, sucking the breast of Putana and making Putana die, and then the cart, and then as a little toddler, and then as a child, and when Brahma himself stole all the cowherd boys, the little boys that were taking care of the cows and the calf, and then we move on with Krishna's pastime to the place where he's 7-year-old. Krishna is 7-year-old, and he's very smart, of course. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, coming on earth in his original form to perform his pastime with his pure devotees, eternal associate of the Lord, and his eager pure devotees who want to be associating with him. And in the village of Vrindavan, the people are very pious, and they are followers of the Vedas. And then in the Veda, it's enjoined that there is different sacrifice one can perform in order to get, there is an exchange between demigods and the population on earth. So we can look at the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and Lord Indra. They are kind of agency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he kind of has his hand free of work. He doesn't work. Like we can imagine, like God doesn't need to work. And so when the cosmic manifestation, that place of reformation of all the souls that want to enjoy separated from Krishna, all the souls that decide, like, I don't want to be a servant, I want to be a master. Isn't it? We always want to be master. We don't want to be servant. We're fighting serving. We want master. I want to have my company. I want to have my name. I want to have my everything, my and I. So when that propensity for I and my increase and we want to enjoy separated from the Lord out of envy because we don't want to serve anymore, then we are thrown by Maya, thrown into the material world, the cosmic manifestation for reformation. This cosmic manifestation is called Durga, and Durga means that it's a fortress. It's a fortress. So it's a fortress, and here we are prisoner. We are prisoner because we decided to have our own little God project and not wanted to serve God as the one without a second. That's the origin of everything. We are his part and parcel, so for us it's natural. The most natural for us as his part of parcel is to serve him, to like be an expansion of him. And that feels so good to be a servant of God and to identify as a part and parcel of Krishna and make for his enjoyment. Krishna, every time he wants to enjoy, there's millions of living entities emanating from him for his own enjoyment. And then a small percentage of those living entities, they kind of want to use their free will in a way that causes them only trouble. Isn't it? Every time we use our free will, we only cause trouble to ourselves. And so Krishna, he doesn't work. So when there is a need to manifest the cosmic manifestation, then he expands himself. There's a chart of Yuva and then the Purushas. It's like the different expansion of expansion that lead us to this material creation and this specific universe where you are. And in every universe, like we can see in every department of the government, there is like ministers. There is powerful being in charge of different aspects of the universe and functioning of the universe. There is Brahma, the engineer of the universe. Here we are speaking about Indra, is the king of heaven, is also in charge of the weather, is the one who creates all the different weather. There is a sun god, there is a moon god, there is a wind god, there is a fire god. So all those empowered beings, demigods, they're all servants of the Lord, and they are orchestrating the functioning of our universe. And there is, in the Bhagavad Gita, it's explained how there is a symbiotic relationship between the demigod and the human being. And that symbiotic relationship is that the human being have an opportunity to perform sacrifice, and through the sacrifice, then all their needs is supplied. The water supplies, the sun is supplied, everything that's needed is supplied, and it's explained in the Vedas. And here Srila Prabhupada makes a very important point that when we worship directly the Lord and serve the Lord, then all our responsibility towards the demigods are fulfilled, because in each sacrifice to the demigod, it's indirectly we are sacrificing to the Lord. The Lord is in charge of the demigods and at the head of the demigod, and he created that system of the worship of the demigods that's really very much part of the Veda. It's explained that he created that system to help the human being understand that there is higher power in charge and higher power than themselves. So we can see in the Western world, the philosophy of the Western world is, for me to get anything, I need to work hard, and only I can get it to myself. And this is complete illusion. This is complete illusion, because even if someone works very hard, there is no guarantee that he will not be sick, or stop in his endeavor, and there is no guarantee of any result. So when when a person becomes more intelligent, they understand, oh, maybe there is higher power. And even in this world, people understand that if I'm nice to the boss, even if I work very hard, but I don't have a relationship with the boss, then my position is kind of limited in this company. But then if I please the boss, then maybe I will have a chance of a better position, a better pay, maybe less work. So even in this world, people understand that if I worship people superior to me, human beings superior to me, I may get in a better position. So the Veda kind of guide human being to understand, okay, now if you worship the demigods, you are going to improve your position in the material world. By worshipping the demigod, you can improve your health, you can improve your wealth, you can worship the demigods to have a better spouse. So many boons are bestowed upon the human being by the demigods. And the system is kind of a mechanical system. You know, it's described, you do A, B, C, D to worship such and such demigod. The demigod is obliged to give you what you want. So that's an automatic system. And through that system, human beings are supported to understand that they are not the Lord and Master of everything, that there is superior being. And by developing that consciousness of superior authority, then that's a first step in a yoga ladder to develop a sense of towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Srila Prabhupada tells us, like, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. We can, akarma karma sarvabhupa. Like, if we have desire, or if we have no desire, material desire, we can approach the Supreme Lord directly. And the Supreme Lord, when we approach him and worship him, he does a lot more than the demigods can do. Because the demigods, as I said, is kind of an exchange, it's a business. We worship them, they give us what we want. And it's automatic. When we worship the Lord and we approach the Lord for what we want, then there is a boon in that, is that he really helps us move forward in our self-realization. He will provide what we want and what he needs, or not provide what we want and we need, in a way that's going to support us to go back to our original constitution position, which is to be eternal servant of the Lord. It's our Sanatan Dharma. Dharma means something that cannot be separated from an object. For example, Srila Prabhupada said, the Dharma of sugar is to be sweet. The Dharma of fire is to be hot and to bring light. So the Dharma of the living being is to serve. We can see that. We're always serving someone. We're serving someone we love. We're serving, like in my neighborhood, there's a lot of people serving dogs. They go out, and I'm amazed, like they go out every day and the first thing they do in the morning is to scoop poop from the ground after their dog pass. I'm just like, what a level of service. If they could do that, like, you know, for God, that would be so wonderful. But they do it for their dogs, they do it for their clients, they do it. We serve. That's our Dharma. We cannot separate the living entity from serving. Even animals serve their cubs, their cubs. They, you know, we cannot separate it, the living entity from serving. And what's our original eternal service? Sanatan Dharma, eternal original service, is to serve the personality of Godhead as part and parcel. We are all servants of Krishna. If we want it or not, we are all servants of Krishna. If we realize it or not, we are all servants of Krishna. If we serve voluntarily or if we don't serve voluntarily, we are going to serve Krishna. Krishna's Krishna's material energy or Krishna's spiritual energy. So the demigods are serving like that, and we can directly go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that's Sri Krishna. So in this pastime, the villager of Vrajabhumi, they are very pious. They also worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They often pray to Lord Vishnu to protect baby Krishna, or the child Krishna. And they were about to do a sacrifice to Lord Indra, because every year at the time of harvesting time, they thank Lord Indra for the rain and the heat, everything that Lord Indra supplied, that created such a bountiful supply of grain and seeds and vegetable, grass for the cows. So they are grateful at the time of harvest. They are very, very grateful. And it's traditional that they do a huge sacrifice. And in that sacrifice, they bring like tons of grains and yogurt and ghee and so many preparation for Lord Indra to enjoy. And that year, when Krishna was 7, he came to his father and said, "What are you doing, father? What are you doing, father? Why are you doing this sacrifice?" And at the beginning, he's quite inquisitive, like submissive, like, "I'm ready to listen to you, father, just tell me what you're doing." And then the father explained, Lord Indra provide for us, so we want to give thanks to Indra. And so we are going to do that sacrifice to give thanks to Indra. And then Lord Krishna, he started to argue his father. I said, no, Lord Indra have nothing to do with that. What really provide all that is your good work. So Krishna, in responding to his father, he will preach different philosophy. The Mahimsa, what it is. Anyway, different philosophy, like atheistic philosophy.
Karma Mimamsa.
Karma Mimamsa, like atheistic philosophy, which is what basically atheistic philosophy that most of the world function under, is that no, those grains, no, all those preparations, they are there because of the work that you put into it. That has nothing to do with Indra. It's because that you worked so hard. And then because you work so hard, you get the result of your work. And then again, the dad argue and says, no, it's because of Govardhan here. Because Govardhan give us everything. Give us grass, give us everything for our cows. We are coward boys and coward men, and our whole society is based on the cow. So let's worship the cows and Govardhan here. So the father, after arguing for a while, he said, okay. First he said, we can do that after, but first we do Indra. And then Krishna is so perseverant and convincing to his father that the father said, okay, let's do that now. Let's worship Govardhan Hill and the cow, like Govardhan Hill. So Govardhan Hill is a big hill, a short, small mountains, I would say like a hill. And so it's an interesting part, because Nanda Maharaj, the father of Krishna, is convinced by the determination and argument of little 7-year-old Krishna, and then he said, "Please tell us what to do." He said to Krishna, "Please tell us what to do." And then Krishna explains, so you make mountain of rice and halva, and you bring all your ghee and butter and sweet meat and yogurt, and you bring everything to all offer to Govardhan Hill. And let's bring all our cows and worship the cows and Govardhan Hill. And then Lord Indra, he comes and he said, "What's happening here? This is my offering. This is mine. With that little Krishna, with the cowbird and the cowmen are listening to, this is not correct. This is not appropriate. This is my offering. They are going to suffer. They really don't understand who I am. And this little Krishna is going to really figure out who is boss here. And so Lord Indra, who is in charge of the weather, he called his Samvata cloud, and he said, go there and pour rain and hail and everything, thunder and rain and everything, and through the anger of Indra, then they become like a very scary situation in Vrindavan. And when the weather starts, like imagine a big hurricane start, all the residents of Vrindavan, they tremble, the cows and the calf, everybody's trembling and they're turning to Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, please save us. Krishna, save us. Please, Krishna, save us. So similarly, sometimes we're in very difficult situation, and that's the attitude we want to develop, that whatever difficulty is around, we trust Krishna. We trust to turn to Krishna. Please, Krishna, save us. Please, Krishna, let us turn to you in any situation in our life. Krishna, let us turn to you in full faith that you are going to protect us. Faith that Krishna is going to protect us is one item of surrender. We can reach Krishna just by that faith. We are not going to reach Krishna by our perfection, by trying to become perfect. We are going to fail. We are going to reach Krishna when we feel so frail, so small, so insignificant, so fragile, so able to be crushed by any part of the material energy. And we turn to Krishna. Krishna, you're my savior. I know you're going to protect me. So the inhabitants of Vrindavan, that's what they do. They call after the little 7-year-old. He said, don't worry, I got that. Don't worry, I'm going to take care of you. You don't have anything to fear. Indra, he doesn't have that much power. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create an umbrella for you. And then what he did, the big mountain, imagine the 7-year-old, like he appears as a 7-year-old. So that 7-year-old, he grabs the big mountain, Govardhan Hill, and with the pinky of his left hand, he lifts it like that. And, he also pretend like it's trembling, like that. But it's very, very easy. Srila Prabhupada says, like a play. Sometimes children, they pick mushroom and they play like, it's my umbrella, it's my umbrella. So Srila Prabhupada explained that for Sri Krishna, who appeared as a 7-year-old little boy, to carry his Govardhan Hill is nothing. Is nothing. He's carrying all the countless universe. He's carrying, he makes all the planet in this universe move all the time. What is a little hill for him? Nothing. It's nothing. But for the cowherd boys, they felt like, wow, we need to help Krishna. We need to help Krishna. So as Krishna was lifting the Govardhan Hill with his little pinky, they came with their cane and they started to help him. And they were all like pulling their cane up and carrying Govardhan, thinking like, we are really the one doing it. Because, Krishna, they want to keep Krishna as their little boy. And Krishna is there with his hand like pinky. And all the residents of Vrindavan, for 7 consecutive days, they were with Krishna. 7 consecutive days, they had the blessing of being with Krishna. Mother Yashoda didn't need to let Krishna go in the morning to go to the pasturing ground. She was with him 7 days. And then the cowherd boys who usually go in the pasturing ground with Krishna and feel very, very sad when they go home because Krishna needs to go to Mother Yashoda. They were with him for 7 days. And all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they were having the darshan of Krishna and complete melting of their own rasa, their own relationship with Krishna for 7 days. So for 7 days, Lord Indra continued to pour rain and hail and thunders and wind and trying to destroy everyone. And after 7 days, he became so tired. I did everything. I put all my power, all my strength in destroying this village of Vrindavan. And they look happy, they look peaceful. What's happening here? They're supposed to be scared, they're supposed to surrender to me, they're supposed to apologize to me, but they are blissful, they're completely happy and blissful and satisfied. They don't want anything else because they all have the desire of their heart is fulfilled. They have all Krishna to behold in their eyes, to serve with their cane, to massage. Some of them were massaging him because, you know, he had to carry Govardhani on his little finger, so he needed oil and massage. So they were all able to serve constantly Krishna for 7 days. They were in ecstasy. So Lord Indra said, what's happening here? It doesn't work. I wanted to scare them. I wanted to destroy them. I wanted to destroy Vrindavan. Imagine what an offense is that, to want to destroy all the pure devotees, all the eternal associates of the Lord. Indra is in trouble here. Indra is in trouble, like by an offense to a pure devotee, his spiritual life is completely destroyed. So what to speak about Indra wanted to destroy all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, all the eternal associates of Krishna. So Indra realized, oh my God, what have I done? What I have done? I spent all my time and energy offending the devotees of Krishna. What have I done? What will happen to me? And when he realized that, he completely surrendered. He offered obeisances to the Lord. And yeah, you know, after offering some obeisances to the Lord, he just apologized. I'm so sorry. I was so much in illusion. I didn't realize that you were my Supreme Lord, that you were my worshipable deities, my Supreme Lord. You appeared as a 7-year-old boy, and I got bewildered and confused. And I didn't see all your potencies manifested in your pastime in Vrindavan. So that's a pastime that is delineated here in this pastime, in this verse. And then Lord Indra, after he offers so many beautiful prayers, we can read those prayers of the pure devotee, and even more so like pure devotee who make mistakes, because we make mistakes all the time. We offend the devotees all the time. We offend the Lord all the time. We have so much shortcomings, so we can verse ourselves in those pastime. And Lord Brahma, when he stole the cowherd boys, like his prayer afterwards of repentance and admiration of the Lord, Lord Indra, we can read those pastime and read those prayers and absorb ourselves in those prayers and try to emulate them. And then in that pastime, the Supreme Personality of Godhead also, like all his childhood pastime, he really, Lord Sri Krishna, established himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada, at the end of the purport, he explained that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always with all his energy and all his potency. Meaning if he manifests himself as a little helpless baby, or a toddler, or a 7-year-old boy, or a teenager, or a 125-year-old man, like at the battlefield of Kurukshetra, that's the age he has great-grandchildren by then, is always manifesting all his potencies, and it shouldn't be looked upon as an ordinary man, because he's always Krishna, he's always the one without the second. Swayam Bhagavan, the Ishvara Parama Krishna, the supreme enjoyer, the supreme controller, the cause of all causes, the one from whom everything emanates, the material and the spiritual world emanates, and is at the origin of all energy. Prakriti is the material energy of the Lord. The material energy of the Lord is inert, and it is an external energy of the Lord, Prakriti, and Prakriti is infused with Jiva, and then everything gets animated in this material world through those two energy, and those two energy are eternally existing, and they manifest themselves cyclically when there is cosmic manifestation, and after both those energy of and external energy of the Lord and inferior and superior energy of the Lord, at the end of creation, they go back inside. They are not disappearing, they are not annihilated, they are also eternal, however, they are becoming unmanifested and manifest again. So I'm going to stop here to see if there is any conversation, discussion, question, challenges. I'm going to read the verse again. Goper ma kepati ate vrajavi plavaya deve vivar shati pashum kripaya irakshu darto chilindra mivasapta dinani shakta Varsho ma indram anagai kakare shalilam. When the coward men of Vrindavan, under instruction of Krishna, stopped offering sacrifice to the heavenly king Indra, the whole tract of land known as Vraja was threatened with being washed away by constant heavy rain for 7 days. Lord Krishna, out of his causeless mercy upon the inhabitants of Vraja, held up the hill known as Govardhan with one hand only. Also, he was only 7 years old. He did this to protect the animals and the onslaught of water. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Something that I really liked is when you were just speaking about how being a part and parcel of God, it's like where it's so fulfilling for us to serve Him, and it's like it clicked a little bit more than I've heard that however many times, where I considered, because you mentioned that we come from Him, so naturally we want to serve Him, and I can see that like that same thing easily with my parents. Like I really love serving my parents, maybe because I imagine because I came from them, they're my parents. I have a special affection for them, and like for me, it's very joyous to get to give to them. Whether it's like I prepare them some Ayurvedic thing, or I'm giving them a massage, or somehow like being able to help them is really fulfilling. And so I feel like really it made sense for the first time for me how it's still theoretical with Krishna, but like it's very real with my parents. So I can see how it's something very similar or in the same direction with Krishna. So I'm appreciating the way that you put that helped to make it sense for me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I'm so appreciative of that quality in you, that you have that gratitude towards your parents, and you have that natural tendency to want to serve your parents. And you say, it's natural, I come from them. So naturally, I will serve them because I emanate from them, at least in this body and in this form. And you say, okay, well, if the core of me is part and parcel of Krishna, I am Krishna, I'm Krishna's part and parcel, then because I am Krishna's, I'm made for him, for his enjoyment. It makes sense that my natural constitution position of happiness, bliss, and joy is going to be completely fulfilled when I naturally serve where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I mean, so that's like, you sort of like turned up the volume on what I said. I'm saying, yeah, I can sort of like begin to see how it theoretically makes sense. Yes.
Yes, I turned up the volume a little bit. Yeah. And that's the core of our philosophy, Bhakti Yoga. It's the core of philosophy is to really understand that we are Krishna's. Krishna's manifest is part and parcel. He manifests the living entities out of his desire, his own desire to enjoy, because he's a supreme enjoyer. And so we emanate from him, and we are manifesting in different form for his enjoyment. And then when we stop, like when we want to stop that and want to lord over the material energy, saying, okay, no, you're not the enjoyer anymore, like parents, mom, dad, no, you're not anything. I'm going to have my own, like God project. And a lot of teenagers, they do that. I'm going to have my own God project, and they suffer. And the parents are looking and say, well, we can offer you meals, we can offer you a house, we can offer you security, we can offer you so much love. But the teenager is, no, I'm going to make it on my own, and I'm going to find a way on my own. And then the teenager usually they create so much suffering for themselves, and only suffering. And I think this is freedom, and this is happiness. But what they get is like cold, and sometimes no food and no shelter, and fight with others, and sometimes they get robbed, sometimes they get cheated, while their parents are waiting on and say, well, here you're protected, we love you. We are not doing anything to against you. We are just here to serve you and to love you. Yeah. So we can see that, yes, it's the same. We are teenagers in a sense, and we are not realizing that we can go back to where we belong in that eternal constitutional position of part and parcel of Krishna, and eternally made to serve him, and then everything we ever desire and way more is going to be fully satisfied, feeling safe, feeling free, feeling happy, feeling taken care of. All that is going to be available for us at every moment, all the time. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your realizations. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I really liked how you like entered all the personalities, like you kind of entered all the personalities and spoke from your empathic point of like your empathy guess. And it was nice. It like really brought the pastime alive to me. So I appreciate it. And then I like the point that you made that like Krishna, like they pray to Krishna to protect them, and then we cannot make ourselves perfect. So that Krishna protects. So that felt relieving to hear. That was nice.
Nice reminder.
Yes.
Nice reminder. Yeah, you like the personalities, the different personality on the Government Hill and Indra and like that, and then to remember that, yeah, a way to surrender. Like I look at Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and they have a part of his song in Sharanagati Atmani Vedanam. You have like 8 songs of Atmani Vedanam, and the mood there is very clear. It's very clear. I'm not qualified. I'm not capable. I'm so fallen. I'm so sinful. I cannot even think of you. I cannot do anything. And please accept me. Please, let me offer myself all to you. So through Bhaktivinoda Thakur's teaching, we can clearly understand that our way back to Godhead is not from our qualification or our endeavoring to be perfect or our perfection, or what can we do? We are born in Kali Yoga. We have no quality. We don't even know what cleanliness is, or to speak about austerity. So we have we don't have anything but going towards humility, and that humility directly brings us to give ourselves to Krishna. And that humility shouldn't be very difficult, really. We really look at each of us within ourselves, and with truthfulness and what we are capable and not capable of doing and where we are at. That humility shouldn't be difficult. So somehow the less we have, the more puffed up we can be. Yes, thank you. Yes, so it's not about being perfect or being great or being wonderful or doing all the devotional practice so well. It's really about allowing ourselves to, Krishna, I'm not capable of anything, and please protect me. And to really believe in the protection of the Lord. Yes. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Nadine Shakti, for sharing your realization and reminder.
Yes, Hare Krishna. It's like so obvious how I'm the forgetful living entity. I read every day the same thing from Shah Prabhupada. It feels like I read the same thing, and I'm always like, wow, yes, that makes sense. And then the next day again.
Yeah, that's a process. You know, by definition, we are forgetful of our eternal constitutional position, and so that's a process because we are forgetful. Because we are forgetful, we need reminder. We need reminder, and because we need reminder, Srila Prabhupada, out of his causeless mercy, he gave us a complete process of to support us to remember, a complete process of bhakti yoga, starting in the morning program and then throughout the day doing service and then evening program to help us remember because we forget. We forget. In coaching us, often you hear that, like I hold space for people and I bring, some principles that they're common sense principles. Everybody knows them in a sense. But people say, oh, I forgot. So that's our constitution position in the material world. Our material conditioning is to be forgetful. That's our the material conditioning is forgetfulness. Yes, thank you.
I have a question, Malini. Maybe you can respond. Why would someone go to demigods for like some material blessing, like money or health, or if you can go to Krishna directly?
Yeah, so why would someone go to demigod if you can go to Krishna directly? My understanding is that system of demigod worship is for people who don't understand that you can go to Krishna directly. Like it's a system in the Veda, and the Veda, like there is Varnashram Dharma, and there is, like the karma yoga, and there is different aspect of the ladder that brings people to understand God. But then taking people from one place, like where they think that they are the Lord and they do everything by themselves, then if they are guided by if they accept the Vedas, then they are going to be guided to offer oblation to the demigods. And by offering oblation to the demigods, they start to accept that there is an authority and a power that's bigger than my power and my authority. And through doing that, then that's a first level of understanding, a first level of surrender, that, I am not the almighty, powerful person who makes things happen in my life. There is demigods. And that's a step towards accepting the authority and accepting the supremacy and the supreme personality of Godhead. So yeah, so it's a gradual elevation. The Vedas, like Prabhupada often says that he gives us the elevator, like the how it's called, elevator, like the things that go up the stairs, yeah. And the Veda in many ways gives a stairway. The step, one step at a time, to elevate human being to the Varnashram Dharma, to the system of God worship, to a different system. It's a system for gradual elevation, and not necessarily a one lifetime gradual elevation. So a human being come to accept the authority of the demigods, it will help him to little by little accept the authority of God, of Krishna. So that's gradual elevation. That's my understanding. I'm sensing that dear Govinda want to say more.
I just said this past Monday morning, I gave a short talk at it was an online conference of Vedic psychology for the upliftment of human consciousness, and and Bharat, Benjamin Berwing, also gave a talk, and it was very nice. He ended up speaking first, and because there was some technology problem on my side, and he chanted Hare Krishna. He mentioned Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, and then in my talk, shockingly enough, I also mentioned Srila Prabhupada, and I chanted Hare Krishna, and my talk was entitled "The Three Gunas: An Empirical Basis for Happiness," and we like that. And then there was another part of the conference when Malini was saying that she was listening, and I wasn't. I had lagged. It was very, very nice people. It was intellectual like that. But Malini, you were saying that there was like some psychology professor, and he was talking about the Vedas and different ritual and sacrifice and how it relates to maybe today's psychology, and probably maybe intellectually, it was satisfying. But the point is like they there's Vedas, but people don't get the goal of the Vedas of devotion to Krishna. So maybe they'll get, we become jnanis and realize we're not the body. I mean, there's something, demigod worship, or we do karma yoga or karma mimamsa. And so that's a situation today. You can go to the yoga studio, but people don't get the essence of the Vedas. The goal and the essence, Krishna says, I am the goal, I am the object of the Vedas. Bhakti mama vijanati avinyashtasmi tatvata. So people don't get it. Yet, well, it's Kali Yuga. Well, even before Kali Yuga, people didn't get it. I mean, maybe we don't get it even more now, but that's why, like, even 5,000 years ago, Vyasadeva, he gave all the Vedas, and he can say, like, people aren't going to get it. People aren't going to get it. And so 5,000 years, he wrote the Bhagavatam, and that's why Prabhupada's the Vedic master, and he's giving us Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, because these are the essence. Nigama Kapatura Galitam Palam. This is the ripened fruit, giving us the ripened fruit of Vedic knowledge. And for the most people, even in previous ages, even Vedic scholars, that's a verse from Brahma Samhita, even Vedic scholars, they wouldn't get that the goal here is pure, heartfelt, devotional service to Sri Krishna, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. And so in some ways, most of the Vedas, they're meant to be tricky. Like, okay, even if you don't get the essence, and it's not just because because people didn't study enough. No, like the gopis, they get the Vedas, but they're not known as great studiers, right? So it's not about studying, but like, the idea is, so even if you're not getting the ultimate goal, as you were describing, Malini, it's like a safety net. There's some benefit in doing demigod worship just because I want a better house or I want my children to get good education. There's some benefit to engage in the Hatha Ashtanga Yoga, even if we don't understand the ultimate goal. Even if we don't have the ultimate goal in mind, but the ultimate goal of pure devotional service to Sri Krishna, but still it's designed to bring us there in a gradual way, maybe climbing up 5,000 flights of stairs instead of the elevator.
Yes, thank you. At that conference, there was an Indian gentleman who have an eco farm in Colorado. And he was really bringing to all the people there the power of Agni Hotra, which is fire sacrifice, the fire sacrifice to demigods. And how it was really like, okay, this time is so heavy, there is the pandemic, he was speaking about the pandemic and all that. But in our little farm, we are protected because Agni Hotra. So he was really preaching to people to do demigod worship. And also we have seen, like, in an arena of business, money making seminars, and at one point there was like a trend of worshipping Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva, if we worship Lord Shiva, we can become really, really wealthy. Lord Shiva is naked, He has ashes all over himself. He's renounced. He doesn't care for anything, but he can pour gold upon people. And so those people, they realize like, okay, they do real estate, there is business, they do a trade at the World Trade Center, and then all of a sudden they realize someone knows something about the Veda, and then they become like Shiva worshipper. And what it's saying, this purport, and in the Bhagavad Gita, it said, Krishna said, I sent forth demigods and sacrifice, and by so doing, you will get your supply of what you need. And because in every sacrifice, Lord Vishnu takes his cut. Because of that, people unknowingly need to sacrifice to Vishnu. And because Vishnu is so merciful, he accepts their sacrifice. And through accepting their sacrifice, they get purified because they are serving Krishna unknowingly. So that they are making some dividend in their devotional spiritual bank account through their sacrifice, even to Lord Shiva. So that's how it works and why it's elevating. But yeah, it may take many, many lifetimes. At the same time, for me to see businessmen start worshipping Lord Shiva, well, I know in a sense they are up the ladder more than just a materialistic, atheistic life. Because they accept higher authorities, they start to open themselves to something more than what the eyes can see. Like that.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm discovering my real question now, hearing your responses. And perhaps like a misconception I have that I wasn't aware of, that like hearing, we can go to Krishna, like we go to the demigods for material benefit, and we go to Krishna for service or spiritual benefit. And then like also it's not okay to go to Krishna for material benefit.
Yeah.
And well, maybe you can tell me that is that a misconception?
Yeah. So you have a sense that, okay, so for material benefit, we can go to the demigods, and then for spiritual benefit, we go to Krishna. And so much in your process of Bhakti Yoga, we so much focus on spiritual benefit. There is so much focus on approaching Krishna for spiritual benefit. And Krishna in the Bhagavatam is said, Akama Sarva Kamova. So with the material desire or without material desire, he'll approach Krishna. Because if we approach Krishna with a material desire, then the way our material desire are going to be fulfilled, he's going to give us spiritual benefit. If we approach a demigod to fulfill our material desire, only our material desire are fulfilled with some spiritual benefit, but very little in comparison to, let's approach Krishna for material benefit. What's the alternative? I approach myself, and I think I'm Lord of Earth. So to approach Krishna for material benefit, it's already like a step forward towards Krishna than to not approach Krishna. So when we approach Krishna, the advantage of approaching Krishna for material benefit is that he fulfills them in a way that gives us spiritual benefit. Yes. And versus the demigods, it's just, okay, take. You do that, I give, it's like a business section.
It sounds better to me.
Yeah. If your goal is material benefit in this lifetime, then it's better to worship demigods. Yeah. If your only goal and you don't have any spiritual goal, you don't have any desire for advancement in spiritual life, you have no desire to fulfill the purpose of human life, and all your purpose in life is to make material advancement, then the demigods are the way to go.
Well, I think for like the material desire, if I really want to have a child, to go to the demigod is probably so much safer than to go to Krishna and get a child or not a good child, or get a child in such a way that will increase my spiritual progress. It's like, no thanks. Like, that's how I even when Anandini asked why would someone go to demigod for the material things rather than to Krishna, I was like, yeah, it's like to get like to think clearly without like a spiritual benefit behind it that makes the desirable thing quite miserable.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're thinking, okay, well, if I want money, I just approach Lord Shiva and I get my money and I don't have to worry about it. I gave him what he wanted and I received what he was supposed to give me, and that's finished. The exchange is finished. I did my part. And then indirectly I make spiritual advancement versus like approaching Krishna, and maybe he will give me something, but what he will be more concerned, but it's, like, if Krishna is way more concerned about our spiritual advancement, it's because of our desire. Because Krishna only acts based on our own desire. So if we get the things that we want in a way that maybe sometimes is challenging or difficult or even painful, we can retrace it to our own desire for spiritual advancement. And then even if we get material commodity from the demigod, it doesn't mean that it's the end of our suffering. Just we get the material commodity. Material commodity is not the end of the suffering. It's just
I feel defeated.
you feel defeated. Good. I'm glad. I feel proud of myself.
Yeah, that verse you were quoting, Malini, it continues. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta pusham param. And this Tivrena means intense.
Really.
The Bhagavatam is, we got material desires, we got material desires, we got impersonal liberation desires, whatever. The recommendation is intense. Tivrena means like the sun ray goes through a magnifying glass, becomes intense heat, intense devotional service. And there's a similar verse, Itanyar vidya mananam ichatan katobayam yoginam vipanirnitam haranamanu kirtanam. Same principle. You got lots of material desires, you got subtle material desires, you got impersonal desires, you got whatever. The recommendation of the Bhagavatam is haranamanu kirtanam, engage in kirtan with joy and intensity, whatever the situation of our relationship with desires.
Thank you, dear Govinda. Hare Krishna. Prantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanandi. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.